Namaskar everyone. Almost about 2.5 years back, I did a video on the Dhyanalinga Yantra. I spoke about the many benefits that I was seeing right after buying it, just a few months after I bought the yantra. And that was relevant then, and since then I've been thinking of doing a longer term video, like it's been 2.5 months. So, what has been my experience so far? Some of you might notice that the bedsheet has been put topsy-turvy. I didn't realize. I'll just correct it after some time. I actually realized just when I'm shooting this video, I did not notice it at all so bad. I'm in my rented place in Chikaballapur, so where I don't have curtains, I didn't buy them, so I'm just using a bedsheet. I think it looks really pretty though, the Varli and all. I think I resonate with everything I said in that video. All of it is true. The main thing that I've realized over time is it's extremely convenient because it's light and very easy to carry. So I've pretty much carried it in all my travels. Even if it's a laptop bag, I'm carrying it so easy to put the yantra in it. If it's a longer travel with a bigger suitcase, then easily the yantra goes in that. I also want to mention that I've put it in check-in baggage and hand luggage, and it's never come up. It's never come up as a security issue. It definitely changes the place. The yantra with a lamp is a very powerful combination. But yes, of course, if you cannot do a lamp, still the yantra is great because better something than nothing. But if you really want to go one properly, then do the yantra with at least lighting a lamp once in a day. That should be really good. I already had the Akhandiya that time, and that's what makes my shrine really active, because the yantra also I could simply put it in the shrine or just hang it on the wall and forget about it. And that is how these have been made, because it does not require frequent upkeep. So it's the lamp that really keeps the shrine very, very alive, because I have to keep doing something, and that ensures I keep cleaning it and stuff. Otherwise, I may just forget about it. I think the biggest development after I got the Dhyanalinga Yantra and a span of time had happened. In the previous video, one of the ending notes was that I feel there should be a next step to this yantra, because the yantra itself has been pretty palpable presence, and thus there should be a next step. And the next step did happen, maybe just a few months after the yantra came in, maybe a year afterwards. I don't exactly remember, but I basically wanted to do temple volunteering again. So a long time back, I was very attached to the temple Dhyanalinga, and I have done a lot of volunteering there. I have volunteered in the Dhyanalinga when it was a completely different world. Not a lot of people knew about Isha. So excepting the Saturday, Sunday when a lot of local crowd would come in, there'll barely be like 10 people who may walk into the temple. So the volunteering was actually difficult because it was literally, there was nothing to do. You just sat there and waited for the visitor. And there would be like 10 visitors in the full day. And then there were even times where, because I was spending so much time in the ashram and everybody knew me, I would just volunteer in the temple alone. Like the swamis would just leave me in the temple, and for an hour or two, I will be the only person in the temple. Because it was like that, barely like 2 or 3 people will enter in that whole time. They'll take a walk and go. And when the place is so empty, the people who come also are able to absorb and reflect, and they will maintain the silence because the whole ambience is like that. So anyway, that was quite some time back, and since then I hadn't really done that. So this Dhyanalinga Yantra came in, and I was in Coimbatore already. So then I started going to the Dhyanalinga temple. And then I spoke with some people, and I started volunteering there whenever I was free. My proper volunteering was still somewhere else. Like I think that time I was volunteering with Isha Life. But I would go whenever I'm free, or I feel like spending an hour or two, I'll go to the temple and volunteer over there. Not inside, outside. Inside is a little trickier. And yes, linga seva and all, a lot of options are there. Like Isha has a lot of options for temple volunteering. That's really a powerful experience, I'm sure, and I would recommend it to everyone. If you haven't done it before, if you already done it once or twice, then you could just figure out a way to kind of just go there and volunteer for a few hours. Another time to volunteer in these temples is during big festivals or something, because a whole bunch of crowd is expected. So they actually want more volunteers there. And so the normal volunteers, like all the linga seva people and all who are already there, they may be less or they may be too taxed. So if an extra volunteer goes in, then they can give a break to the linga seva people and all that stuff. So that's pretty great. It works for both of them. It helps the team also, and it's great for us also, our own sadhana.
In a certain way, in an energy form, you're touching Shiva himself. He has no physical body, but everything else is there. Don't look for a benefit, just die into it, huh? That's the way. That's what seva means, that you want to dissolve into it. What will I get? This is what I was talking, this is a marketplace. What will I get, Sadhguru? I washed linga for 7 days, Sadhguru, what will I get? If you get something, you're an idiot. In 7 days, you must lose yourself. That's what should happen.
Coimbatore temple space is really large anyways. There's the Devi temple, Dhyanalingam, Tirthakunds, Yogeshwar Linga. So there's just a huge space. So you need not be in one place, you could be in many places. Like, whichever one needs some help or you feel gravitated to a place, then you could go and just request and spend some time volunteering. The other thing with temple in Coimbatore is they have linga snanam, that is the Dhyanalinga temple gets cleaned. So I think before and after the Amavasya or something like that, just check it, linga snanam it is called. I'll put a link in the description. So you can go for linga snana also. That's a great opportunity also, that allows you to be inside the Dhyanalinga Garbhagriha and do all the stuff. That's great. They do the chanting of Shambho, that's very powerful. Devi temple, of course, is a different thing. It has like Bhairavi Seva, Linga Bhairavi Seva, so that also you can just check the details. The people who may opt for which temple depends a lot on what you're attracted to. There are some people who are not so much into Devi, while there are other people who are a lot more into Devi, so it really depends. Some are into both, which is okay as well. So figure out whatever you are getting pulled to. Having come to Chikkaballapur, I obviously realized that the Yogeshwar Linga is also very powerful. In Coimbatore, it gets overlooked, but it's definitely worth it. Like if Dhyanalingam is, you don't have space to volunteer there, go to Yogeshwar Linga and try over there. That can be a powerful one as well. And of course, in Chikkaballapur, volunteering is a lot more easier. You can do Yogeshwar temple volunteering, Naga temple volunteering. They have something called 4-day Sannidhi Seva, or just contact them for more. I'm sure they're always looking for volunteers. So if you can come even for 7 days, 8 days, it'll be really a super, I think. Obviously, you should be ready to rough it out a little bit because, the accommodations and all are not great. And these temple seva volunteering gigs can be very, the timings are pretty long actually. It can be pretty rigorous, but it's really powerful. So that's what happened for me. I started volunteering a little bit in the Dhyanalinga temple at the area. For a while I did that, and then Chikkaballapur happened and I went for the Naga consecration, and then I just switched. I just came here to this ashram and I volunteered such a lot. For months on end, I was volunteering in the Yogeshwar Linga in the Chikkaballapur center, and they needed volunteers so much, so I would also jump to Naga and help there if needed. And now I'm working with the media team, but I always look out for the temples. And so in terms of the media team, like when I'm writing articles, I'm always looking at temple related articles as well. So in that sense, I think that was the next step for me from Dhyanalinga Yantra, that I started doing temple volunteering, which was definitely a next step. Like it definitely deepens and magnifies that experience in a multifold way. Yeah. So now I have come into the media team in Chikkaballapur, so I'm not actively on ground in the temples. Whenever I feel the need, I would go. But somehow the Nepal experience, my 10-day yatra to Nepal, which also brought this whole Bhairav realization, and that is why I've been doing a whole series of Bhairav videos. That Nepal yatra shook something within me, so I don't feel such a need to go to the temple and volunteer as of now, because some experience is going on within myself and the whole Bhairav thing is unfolding. Talking about Nepal, I have shared some of the very powerful experience I had in Bhaktapur, Nepal in my premium section. You can check that video out. It was a really unbelievable thing, to be honest, and yeah, I simply cannot share it outside, so you can watch there. It's pretty cool.